Okay, looks like we are live. What? No sound? This helps. There you go. All right. I think we have sound. Let me double check it. And we have sound. Yes. Okay, great. All right, so I'm going to teach a little bit more about our dear Mr. Trump and our scenario of dealing with someone who is the nature that he is, and he's not alone in this nature. It's a very elaborate quality. Yeah, a lot of pride. Yeah, basically pride. Yeah, so the influence that you would think that you get a president and the president's going to be a president and that we're going to have normal processes go on. But as this presidential process begins to end, yeah, we have a coronavirus, but then we also start having threats from social disorder. You know, we start having something like called Antifa, yeah, or Proud Boys, or far right, BLM, Black Lives Matter, a lot of things, one after another, cropped up, and all under the influence of our president, because it's happening from above down, and we think it's above, but it's not. It's way low, because these thought forms and actions are happening from the lowest of our Americans, lowest of the people in our tribe, in our group, So this behavior is it's the easiest, most simple behavior to follow on, and carry out, because it's just one step above an animal. So these people, like in the Proud Boys, what they are, Proud Boys, is that they're proud to drink. Yeah, they're drinking brothers. Go to their meeting, listen to it. First thing, you have to be a drunk. You have to drink and drink severely. Yeah, you need to have a beer right here. And there has to be six packs everywhere. Yeah, because it's the nature of us Americans, is that we have a right to have a gun, a right to have a beer, and a right to treat women in any way that we wish, and go about this world ruling it, because we have superiority, being white and all, So there's a very aggressive nature in these people, and it stems from our president. It comes right out of his brain. The little brain it is, it still comes out of his brain. And it's his identity. And his identity is manifesting into our identity. He identifies everything. He identifies everything. Yeah, you're bad. You're bad. You're bad. You're bad. You're bad. You're fired. You're bad. Yeah, you're fake news. You're lying. Yeah. Oh, I didn't say that, and yet there's a film right next to him saying exactly what he just said, and then, some, really idiot lady will come out and say, well, you misunderstood what he said. He was just kind of like messing with you, because you're assholes. And you need to be treated like assholes, So he was treating you like an asshole, saying terrible things because you're a terrible person, and you don't deserve answers. Yeah, you deserve his rhetoric and his angry, throwing out things. Even when he said, take Lysol, sniff it, stick it up your veins, wipe your body down with it. Can we do something with that? Yeah, something we could do with that. And the little lady comes out going, oh, come on, he was joking. He was joking. Who would say such a thing? He did. He said it. And there are people trying to buy it. People calling up their doctors saying, should I? Is this the right thing to do? You know? Yeah. Even Mr. Clean had to come out and do a commercial just to get people to not do it. Yeah. You know, so he's ad-libbing. He's not the President of the United States. He is Donald Trump. And he's been this way since he was a little kid. You know? And now you're in his aura. You're in his aura. You know? And you made him president. So now our whole country is his aura. And we have to do everything we can not to be seduced by his astral projecting forces. Yeah? Because he's creating a militant reality. Yeah? He has a militia. Yeah? And when you're someone who's not the president, then you need a militia. You need to feel that you can call the military and have them go to your beck and call. You know, get down that street and beat up those people. I'm going to go carry a Bible to that church. You know, but beat them up. Use whatever means you need. You know, peaceful people. Yeah. But still, he would use the military. And from that, the military stepped back. Generals said, we're never going to be used like that again. This is not human. It's not humane. It's not justice. It's not our pledge to protect the people of the United States. It doesn't go along with that at all. You know, how can I, as a general, ask my people to carry out something so wrong? Yeah, even if it is the president asking us to do it. You know, so quite a few stepped aside from that, and he still keeps going. But he doesn't have a military anymore. You know, so he sends out the National Guard and calls the FBI and say, who's the biggest asshole? Hey, get him on the line. All right, let's be an asshole. Let's gather our troops. Are you ready? Yes, sir. You know, and they did that. And he says, we need to focus on democratic states. Now, right now, the ones that can go down the fastest is Portland, Seattle. They're always having that kind of stuff going on. Let's go in and rip them apart. Yeah, let's do every conspiracy gesture you can possibly. Let's just drag them off the street, throw them in cars, you know, not say a word, you know, no laws, no breaking of laws, no sending people to jail, just drag them off the street, stick them in the back of the car, and we don't know what happened to them. Yeah, and that happened, you know. That is the beginning of a militia, yeah, where you have people going through this process. And he's also developing a relationship where people have a spontaneous process of thinking that they should be vigilante. Yeah, because now we've got Antifa out there, you know, and a conspiracy and vampires and the Walking Dead, you know. And they all got badges saying, I'm here to kill vampires. I'm here to kill the Walking Dead. You know, they're going for everything Trump and that QAnon process is about. Look into it. It's really amazing, yeah. But it's all about Trump. And it's all about the energy of the astral plane of this idiot, this crazy man, who has strong conspiracy processes, who's willing, just because you're black, to throw you in the fire, yeah? Willing to discredit a person for being the president of the United States and spend your entire 4 years discrediting the last president of the United States in every area that he was president. In every area. No respect whatsoever for all the people who governed during the time of that president. Because it's all those people that pulled it off, not that president. He should know this. It's never the president that pulls it off. It's always a collective. Yeah, you've got to get a collective relationship to pass bills properly, unless you're Trump. Then you just go to the side, you grab a lawyer, and you pass that bill overnight, and then everybody finds out about it. That's what he does. You know? And then everybody's going, wow, can he do that? Well, he did. Well, can we do something about it? I don't know. We can try. you know. But every single thing that he's done has not been able to be stopped, you know, because we're not set up for this sort of thing, you know, for someone to come in here who's a spy from hell, you know, and starts worshiping hate right in front of everybody, you know. From the time he's 30 years old, he's worshiping hate. He wants everybody to be hateful, yeah. So he has a militant group. He's militant, right? Militant. So if you're militant and you're really not going to do it the right way, you're going to do this in a militant way, like the Civil War, yeah, then you're going to have a militia, like the Civil War, yeah. And he's in that mindset. He is calling on the militia, yeah. And they're the Proud Boys. That's his militia. And he wants them to go against these other people who are for black people. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they're not. But just because they say they are, he thinks they're the evilest people on the planet. Yeah. And he thinks it is just an absolute conspiracy of evil. Yeah. And that it's beyond wildest imagination. In his mind, it's like that. Yeah. You know, and he's got, you know, the whole process is running around going, hey, you know, we want to get rid of these Civil War relics, these generals who supposedly did good, but actually they were evil. We'd like to get rid of them. We'd like to tear them down, get rid of them. So that began happening. And that totally freaked him out. So he calls on his militia, the Proud Boys, and the police, and others, in order to defend these places, as though that's what's important. So he creates a defense mechanism in a process of a civil war, going back to the Civil War to defend the Civil War. And they were the people who lost it, not the people who won. Yeah? They were the evil ones who at the time we did not have the discernment or the clarity or the ability to not put up their statues, because many of their family members and others were still alive during the time of doing that. You know, so there was just an inherited sense of respect, you know, national respect, you know, kind of letting go of the fact that they were the red coats or the blue coats or the gray coats or whatever coats we were wearing. Yeah. Yeah. So he uses that in the process of hate. That's in his mind. He's thinking these thoughts. You know, so we know he lies. He lies amazingly, wonderfully constant. Yeah. So he's an habitual liar. But when you have mental problems, yeah, you have a list of things that come up with the mental problems. One is habitual liar. The other is no morals. Yeah. The other is stealing from other people and lying about it and letting them take the fall, like a gang member or a head of a gang. He doesn't take the fall. His guys take the fall because he's mafia. It's just the way it works in New York or Chicago, where he comes from. You know, so it's a mindset, a specific mindset, a very corrupt reality. And he's our president. And he's corrupted our nation. Yeah? And our process is that we have to come to a place where we need to really come to some form of discernment and discrimination as to where this guy's coming from. If he gets another 4 years, what might happen? Yeah? Would he actually start a civil war? Yeah? Would he instigate the blue coats against the gray coats? And one is the Atifa, and the other one is the Proud Boys? And he creates a militia out of these two groups, which is what's happening right now. They are meeting up in places and fighting because they are the red or the blue and the, you know, the process that we had in the Civil War. And each one says, they're evil. You know, no, they're evil. No, they're evil. And it's the same thing in the Civil War. Well, we want to stop the slavery. We want to stop this and that. We want to get back rights. We want people, you know, Those are the Black Lives Matter. Yeah. And then you got these drunken people that run around saying, I've got the right to have a gun, and, you know, you're not going to allow these rules to be taken over, laws that shouldn't change. I'm not going to allow them to change. I'll beat the shit out of you if you ask for them to be changed. Yeah. You know, so they're just aggressive, militant people that abuse, holler louder than the people who are Black Lives Matter. They holler louder. That's all they're doing. If you're all alone with the Black Lives Matter people, they're hollering very loud. They're the loudest ones, most aggressive ones. But then here comes the Proud Boys, and they're more louder, more aggressive. They will kill you. They will kill you. The other ones, they'll beat you, they'll threaten you, they'll do things, but they won't necessarily kill you. These other guys, they're standing there with full heavy metal jackets, you know, and they want to use their guns. They want to use their bats. Yeah. And they're going to do this while they're drunk, you know, so that's not going to slow you down in one bit. Yeah. No inhibition whatsoever. So what does our president do? He gets into a debate, and they actually ask him, you've never said anything against, the white supremacists, and that would be the Proud Boys, yeah. Never said anything against those people. Yeah. You always say, oh, there's good and bad in them, but you never say anything against them. Yeah. Can you do that? Can you do that tonight? Can you stand up and do that? So here's what he does.
The vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm
prepared
to
specifically
do it?
Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
who would
right
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing.
FBI director
This is a left-wing problem.
White supremacists. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got to be
not
kidding.
militia. That's what his FBI, FBI director
Gentlemen,
said.
Well, then you know what?
Yeah. So what does he do? Yeah. He claims he's never heard of these people. Yeah. But he quoted them. Yeah. They have a badge. They have written on their chest, something they say, which is, I don't know what it was. He said, stand back and, prepare or something like that. Let's hear it again.
The vice president for not specifically calling out Antifa and other left-wing extremist groups. But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland?
Sure,
are you
I'm
prepared
to
specifically
do it?
Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it.
Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
who would
right
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing.
FBI director
This is a left-wing problem.
White supremacists. Antifa's an idea, not an organization.
Oh, you got to be
not
kidding.
militia. That's what his FBI, FBI director
Gentlemen,
said.
Well, then you know what?
So what does Trump say? He says, stand back and, forget again, stand by, yeah? Very specifically. And here he is. He's the general in charge of the militia. He's giving an order, yeah? Stand back and stand by, yeah? Now, he's never heard of these people, Yeah. Never heard of them. I don't know who you're talking about. You might want to tell me a bit about them. I really don't know anything. But yet he quotes their badge, stand back and stand by, because they're waiting for orders from Trump. There's all kinds of documented reality of them waiting for their recognition from the government, from Trump, to recognize them as a militia, and that they're authorized as a militia, just like you would if you were to take a sheriff and the sheriff says, I'm a marshal, I need to deputize you, you know, and under the delusion of okayness, you know, you say okay, but it's not okay. It's not okay, yeah, not okay for anybody to say, here's the gun, you know, strap this on, let's head out. No training, no nothing. We're a militia, we're crazy, angry, fearful people. Now, no, that is not okay. Yeah, maybe 200 years ago, you know, in the minds of people, that might have been okay. But in this day and age, no, we're in a whole other place where that is not okay. And most of us do not want a gun. We don't want a gun in the house. You know, we have all kinds of fears around it. You know, what if someone finds it and shoots themselves or accidentally or any of that? We have so many people that have empathy and compassion to stop smoking, stop drinking, not have guns, all those things, because they have a conscience. Their conscience moves them toward making these decisions. These people have no conscience. None. They have no conscience, therefore they can carry a bat. They can have a drink. They can have all these things because they have no conscience to make them not want to have any of those things. And that's a whole list of things you should not have. You know, as childhood starts, you should be developing those processes to let go, you know, love, care, share, give, you know, things like that. Yeah. But these people somehow have missed the boat. You know, and it's not hard to do because we're coming out of the 50s, coming out of the 20s, we're coming out of the 40s, we're coming out of the place where we used to hang black people. You know, Martin Luther King. Yeah. You know, so that's where we're coming out of. These are people of this generation that has those thoughts, those feelings. You know, so it's not impossible for this to be going on. It's more than possible. So we have to really make a difference. Yeah, we have to understand what's going on. Yeah, you can't not understand. You have to understand what's going on. You have a president who is totally forced under evil forces, under collective evil forces that are bound up inside of society. People who are in prison, he's a part of that force. People who rape and kill and molest and are pedophiles, he's in that group. He's in that group. You know? He owns billions of people to the billions of dollars to the United States of America for what he's ripped off the taxpayer, what he's ripped off the city of New York, all over the United States. You know? His ballot against ecology, his relationship against black people, every time he gets an opportunity, you know, he forcibly pushes that negative influence into people that your father should have gotten out of you by this day and age. But he's still left over. He's a bigot. He's possessed. He has demonic spirit in him. He has the evil spirit in him. He behaves like he has the evil spirit in him. Yeah? So that's going to have an outcome, and we can see it. All of Portland, you know, why would it be Oregon? Why do you think Oregon's having this problem? Yeah? Yeah? Could it be that maybe the Avatar himself incarnated in Oregon? Yeah? In Oregon. Now, Oregon used to be, and still is, one of the holiest sites on planet Earth. Has more redwood trees. Yeah? It's more sanctuary toward animals. Yeah? Greater vitality of life grows out of there. Yeah? All the way up through Washington. Yeah? Coming from Northern California, going up the coast, is the beginning of a great sanctuary. yeah, that's extremely holy. It goes all the way down the United States. But we don't have any thoughts toward holiness. So where there's really holiness, really evil people tend to collect. Glastonbury's a perfect example. Why on earth would there be more witches on earth in Glastonbury? Why on earth would there be more prostitutes on earth in Rome around the Vatican than any place on earth? Yeah. Yeah. Why is it? Yeah. Because they are potential. Yeah. But it's not active. It's being manifested by evil forces. People are going in there and radicalizing and becoming all kinds of corrupted through what could be highly spiritual elemental forces. Yeah. But it's the people. They're corrupting it. They're thinking communist thoughts. They're thinking, I'm not happy. I'm not with this. Let's all be gay. They're being moved by people who are recruiting them into these thought forms, just like Trump. So when you go to a place like that, you can go to the university, you'll meet people on the street, you'll talk with people. They're all in that element. Yeah. Grunge starts there. Yeah. Grunge, the hate of humanity, the hate. The head grunge guy blew his freaking brains out. Yeah. Very few of them ever survived past 40 or 50 years old. Yeah. Because they're demons. Demons. Yeah. And an elemental boat, where things and elements and angels come from, they're devas. Yeah. And the influence of the Mahadeva, the influence of angels, the influence of elements, those are redwood trees. Yeah. That's the earth. Those are the mountains you see. Yeah. Yeah. The beautiful waters you see in the lake. Those are devas, elements. Yeah. But human beings can put so much impurity by not seeing it. Oh, I'm so unhappy. I need social disorder or order or whatever, all these things that are moved through them through channeling of the elements. And they're being used, just like in Glastonbury. All those people were being used. All those people with hoofs on and horns and walking around as demonic spirits, thinking that was a good idea. Yeah. Day in, day out. Get up in the morning, put your hoofs on. I mean, for sure, that happened. It took us 25 years to get rid of those people by loving them. Not putting signs out saying, get rid of these demons. Not once, Yeah. But slowly but surely, they matured or died. Yeah. All the princes and warlocks and all those croaked sooner or later. And their followers didn't have the aura, just like we have Trump. He's gonna croak one day, people. He's a mighty sick man today. He's got the coronavirus. A man who doesn't believe in using the mask, a man who believes that the coronavirus was a hoax. And that really wouldn't hurt anybody if you get it. Well, let's just find out. Because both him and his wife have it. Last thing in the world I want to see them suffer or die. Yeah? But God's in charge, so we have to witness what's coming down. Yeah? And just know that this man has killed over 210,000 people. Yeah? And his aura is developing a militia to kill more people and create more violence and fill up prisons like you've never, ever imagined. He wants to fill them up to the brim. Yeah, he's not even telling you how many prisons he's building in order to maintain the level of his dictatorship. Yeah, ruling over this thing. Yeah. So there's a lot. This guy he's pushing, okayness. Imagine those guys, the Proud Boys, they're watching TV, they're watching the debate, and all of a sudden they come up. Hey, they're talking about us. oh no, he's going to put us down. This is not going to be good. Boy, I didn't want that. And then he says, well, then he quotes them, he labels them as not being the bad guys. Nah, it's the right that's the bad guys. These people are doing what they should be doing. Yeah. And it's our president. Yeah. So the influence of aura and the influence of chakras and the influence of people's astral influence over anybody and everybody is very, very powerful. And it's really difficult to make changes in that. And so when I incarnated in Tillamook, Oregon. Yeah, and you all eat that cheese, you eat cheese from my cows, and if you know about Krishna, he's all about cows. He's all about milk. He's all about cheese, yeah? And that's where I was born, and it became the capital of cheese in the world. Kind of cool. Biggest factory you'll ever go to. It's beautiful. Even have ice cream, yeah? And it's just a natural influence of blessing that no one in a level of blessing, it's at a level to where you don't really know what's going on. You're being blessed, but you don't really know what's going on. Yeah, you can't put it together. Oh, Krishna reincarnated here. Oh, we have all kinds of milk coming out of here. Oh, this used to be the defense capital of the United States. Yeah, this used to be where they had all the highest technologies going on. The inventing of the many, many airplanes took place in Tillamook, Oregon. It was like Area 51 was Tillamook, Oregon. Yeah, they built all kinds of things there. And when I was born, they had a forest fire that lasted almost a whole year. And nearly every tree surrounding Tillamook, that's 20 miles surrounding Tillamook, burnt down. And all you could see is clear land, just dead trees. Yeah, so the people of Tillamook decided, we're going to replant every single tree. And over a year and a half, they did that. And another fire came. And it wiped out all the rest of the trees. And then they continued doing it. And over a 5-year period, they replanted all the trees. And in 20 years, everything grew back. And it looks better than it ever did. Yeah. So it's really a big one. It's like the world's largest forest fire took place in Tillamook, Oregon. And it went over, not once, but many times, over and over until everything was completely wiped away. Now, you think, wow, that's tragic. Yeah. But could it be an elemental cleansing? Yeah? Could it be, on another level? Could there have been a reason, and a blessing and an outcome for it? All the heartfelt it took for everybody to go and get trees and put those in the ground and believe that it's going to make a difference. Yeah? Actually believe, go through it, all the trouble, have another forest fire come, keep going, And in the end, you get this wonderful thing. Well, what did you do? Yeah? You made an offering to the devas. You gave them back their life. Imagine, each one of those trees are a deva. Each one of those trees. They grow to be so high, so beautiful, majestic redwoods. Yeah? And when they replanted them, they gave them back their life. It revitalized, and it made the land holier than it had been before, because people didn't, rip it apart, and just say, who cares? Let's move. It's a bad place. It'll happen again. Can't trust it. Instead, their heart took over, and they served the land. And that turned it all around. It out went the military. Out went the other groups and things that really wasn't good, the forestry and everything that was happening there, the trains that were taking the trees out and in, all that, because no trees, that ended. So industry had to change. Up comes making milk, and creating cheese, and creating a new industry, a whole new industry for that particular town. Now, if you go there, You know, it's probably one of the most wholesome towns. It's got more churches per square inch than any place I've ever seen. You know, when you drive into a town, you see a billboard and it says, you know, these are the businesses that are here. These are the churches that are here, like 100 churches. You know, and then there's a church across the street from there, there's a church behind that sign, you know, and you keep driving, there's another church over here, you go around the corner, oh, there's a church over there, you go over here, there's a Methodist over there, you go over here, and strange enough, in 1970s, you know, a man named Cyril Jembe Roy, who was the top teacher in India and an incarnation of Babaji, Shiva. And he was living in Babaji's cave. Yeah. And these people from America who were looking for Babaji because of Yogananda, yeah, they went there looking for this cave and everything, and they find this man, Cyril Jembe Roy, who's having a direct contact with Maitreya, and who he believes is the reincarnation of Babaji. You know, so that's why he's in the cave. He's sitting there praying to have a direct contact, meet the new incarnation of Babaji. You know, so he's there while I'm a child, you know, and older, you know, now I'm going through, it's 73, 74, 75, 76, you know, and he's actually he made it to America, you know, by 76 and 77, 78. He's in San Francisco, yeah. All these hippies are gathering around him, yeah. And he's a direct lineage holder of Yogananda. So he's seen people, children, who are incarnating, who are the previous disciples of Yogananda. And he's gathering them by the hundreds, you know, hundreds and hundreds of these people who are all the previous incarnations of Yogananda, including Yogananda. Yeah. So he's got this, you know, it's like, wow, it's really amazing, you know. And then he calls it the foundation of revelation. And in 1980, yeah, from 72 to 1972 to 1980, he began having really strong visions of what I look like physically in this life. Yeah, and so he started having etchings done, you know, my face, clothes that I wear, you know, this and that. You know, so as far as I know, there were like 3 or 4 etchings throughout those years. And in the end, you know, in 1980, he came up with a painting of me in a white shirt, you know, with, you know, my hair and everything normally, just the way I look, you know. And he made this really nice painting, put it on the wall, the foundation of revelation. Yeah, and he says, you know, this is the guy who's coming, and he's Christ, you know, and he's Babaji reincarnated, yeah. And they're all going, oh, that's amazing, you know. Well, just prior to that, he had asked all these people to go to Tillamook, Oregon, yeah. And he says, this is where Babaji was born. This is where Christ was born. So we need to get a restaurant here, and we need to serve all these people every day for 10 years, yeah. And he did that. He opened a restaurant in Tillamook, Oregon, yeah. And he served a really nice restaurant. So I imagine everybody in Tillamook went to that restaurant, and they all got fed, you know, and they all had their nice time, and everything went well, you know, and all this. And then finally it came to where it was time for them to leave, and he was going to leave his body, and I was to come into the picture. And that was in 1984. So 1984, he leaves his body. And what happens is that I'm with a group of people in Rouge, Oregon. Yeah. And Rouge, Oregon is a very sacred place. It's in the Applegate. Yeah. It's part of this sacred divine process of Northern California going up the coast. And it's just next to Shasta. So and Ashland. So Rouge is, you know, has just enormous telepathic forces passing through it, Davic forces, really powerful, yeah. And to me, it was forces that had to do with Adam and Eve, yeah, that far back, you know. So I was, by the time I reached 29 years old, I became very well aware of myself, my reincarnated process, Adam and Eve, the whole trip, you know. But then I was drawn to have to go back to where I was born in order to save Eve. Yeah, that's a weird thing, you know. How am I going to save Eve? you know, well, I'm going to save myself, you know. I go there and kind of find out the whole place is all about, you know, the strongest telepathic forces between the hierarchy and humanity, yeah. Major members of the new group of world servers are passing through this place. And one of them is the guy who wrote the book, Richard Bach. His name is Richard Bach, and he wrote the book Jonathan Livingston Seagull, yeah, which woke up a whole lot of people, right? So he's living in Rouge, Oregon, of all places. And he gets this house, and he's like, going to live out the rest of his life, and he has all teak wood inside because he's so rich after this book and everything. So I'm invited on a night, December 10th in 1981, I'm invited to go to this house and do a prayer to Cyril Jembe Roy, who was alive at the time. And I know nothing about the guy, but the person who's there knows that I'm Maitreya. And he says, you need to connect with this guy because we think he's going to leave his body soon. And his whole life is based on you, So I sat down and I did meditation, went right out of my body, and a whole bunch of very interesting things took place. I won't go into that because this is all strange enough. So, So, but take these things in. Here I am in Richard Bach's house. That's a weird thing. What a coincidence, eh? And here I'm taking a relationship to Cyril Jembe Roy, who's an incarnation of Shiva, who's me. So he's an emanation of me. And while I'm meditating, I merge with this guy and he becomes nothing. I could see his face, but then all of a sudden he just breaks apart in front of my eyes and becomes nothing. And then I guess I will go through a little bit of the story. I then completely leave my body and I find myself on a cross. So I'm reliving my experience of being on the cross. Right then and there, I'm on a cross. And I'm like, oh, shit, who wants to live through this again, And so I did. I went through the whole thing from point of death, to the point of resurrection and everything. All that re-happened again over that whole night long. And then I came back, and laying on the floor, and everybody's calling me Jesus, where before they're, saying Maitreya or this or that. But now they're all calling me Jesus, and to me that made all the sense in the world because I'm Jesus, and the experience of coming off that cross and entering my body, I entered my body as Jesus. So it was over with as far as, my incarnation. It completely flipped from one incarnation to the next. And that was like going Jesus continuing on into this life. So from that moment on, I was the same age I was when I died as Jesus. And I was the same person I was when I died as Jesus. And that's who's sitting here right now. So strange enough, but that's all true. And that's part of Cyril Jembe Roy's reality, is that there's this transmission that goes on the angelic plane that connects the masters of wisdom, and rare do they ever incarnate where we find them in places like this, but in sanctuaries, where you have this Northern California thing and it's going up into that area. This is the time where cleansing is going to take place. So we have fires like crazy here, just like I had when I was born. We have those now here, and it's a process of this, an externalization. It takes a long time to come back into a body, say in 81, and here we are, getting to 2021, So what's that? 60 years, 50 years? What is that? How many years is that? 50, 40? Is it 40? That's plenty, long enough. It's 40 years, right? Yeah, that's like a long time, but it takes that long of gestation for things to manifest, because I'm not manifesting an aura, I was enlightened when I was born. So it's not like I'm becoming more enlightened. That never got to happen to me. I've always been this enlightened, but it's a matter of humanity catching up with that energy, Yeah, so it could take each cycle of these events that take place. It takes a long cycle of time for humanity to take that on. Yeah, so that happens. Yeah, and this happens in 81. By the time I get to 1995, I'm being enthroned in every monastery in Tibet. Yeah, and it's happening in ways that the Dalai Lama can't keep up with it. Yeah, he cannot deal with it. I come to meet with him. It's freaking him out because it's happening too fast, and I'm not willing to allow the time for people to develop an understanding and then catch on. You know, because I need to get a lot done in one life. Yeah, and I'm getting a lot done in one life. You know, so here you can see me enthroned, and right next to me in a picture is the Dalai Lama. Yeah, so this is the Dalai Lama's monastery, senior monastery of the Dalai Lama. Yeah, and they put me in there, and it's my way of transmitting into all of Tibetan Buddhism a changing of hands. Yeah, who's in charge? Yeah, a changing of this process that is going on. So it's the same thing with our guy Trump. But he's on the very low end of this thing. Yeah, so he's purging out what it is that we saw in our grandfather, what we saw in our father, what we saw in our uncles, what we saw in people that just couldn't help but carry a gun and spit and, you know, cuss and drink and, you know, be what they are, be just exactly what they are, you know. But it's a dying race. It's a dying race, yeah, and it's changing of hands. Yeah, so we've been under tyranny for a very long time. Yeah, we've had Hitlers, we've had popes, yeah, and you still have a pope, and you have no idea the guy is a Satanist. Yeah, he believes in Lucifer, that he's God, and he thinks Lucifer is totally separate from Satan, and he has to make it up because that's not in the Bible. It doesn't say that in the Bible. Yeah. So there's this whole process of where we're coming from and people that are affecting our social norm and causing us more harm than you can ever imagine. Yeah. And we have to overcome it. Yeah. So that's what this process is about. Yeah. This process of being able to not just heal from Trump and things like that, but allow Christ in the world. Yeah, it's a different world when that happens. Yeah, because it takes a long time for that orientation of mind and thought and patterning and all of that to come about. You know, because I can easily help you with computers and help you with medicine and help you with all kinds of things. But are you capable of understanding what I'm going to say when I try and help you? Not really. You know, you've got to get past all these things of, what are these terms and what does that mean, you know? And, you know, once you get past a little bit of it, then you got to learn more, you know? So there's an enormous amount of what's known as second-ray soul that's got to develop inside of humanity. And that requires a lot of education. You know, you don't just get a handshake and all of a sudden you're enlightened. You know, you literally have to have reasons to change your behavior. Yeah, and that requires education. Yeah, you literally have to talk yourself out of it. Yeah, and you know, the whole process is to unlearn what it is that you've learned. Yeah, and most of it gets unlearned so quickly, you know, that you lose desire body in relationship to the outcome of what it is that you're maintaining, yeah, because it's just a habit. Yeah, so Trump is a key element. People like Trump, yeah, Michael Jackson, and the Pope, and Sai Baba, you know, and all these Dalai Lama, all these people that have extreme pride and are doing shit that is wrong, and either they're doing it right in front of your face or they're doing it behind the scene. The Pope is not going to jump out and say, praise Lucifer our God, over and over and over again, as he should, because that's what he's doing. Yeah. And he believes that he is a physical incarnation of Lucifer, God. If you study it, that's what you'll find out in the Catholic Church. Yeah. So you have to unveil things in order to free yourself. Yeah, because those things are holding you on to your process. Yeah. So it's a matter of dispelling glamour. Yeah. And you can't really do it through intellectuality and other means. Yeah. But the Holy Spirit can transform the process that's going on. And I'm here for that reason, because I'm the incarnation of the Holy Spirit. Yeah. And all the rest of this is the evil spirit. So you have a divine influence that goes on this planet. And as long as I have this, I have recognition, to where not everybody's stupid, not everybody's satanic, not everybody's possessed by lower nature, but there are a few, maybe millions, that are free and capable of witnessing the Lord and be able to be humble in that recognition and come under that influence and not go into, some kind of opposite response, competing and, non-complimentary, let alone, downright derogatory, because it is difficult to deal with holiness. Yeah, it's not a material thing. It's not a graduation. It's not, what other people can get these certificates and verifications and all these things, and we are driven to think that that's our identity if we go up a ladder. But what if it's another ladder? What if it's a ladder of holiness? And what it takes to get up one ring of that ladder, and there are thousands that you got to go up, before you really are in a place where you've surrendered, and now you every time you surrender, you're absorbing what it is that's keeping you from taking it on again. Because one thing goes out, another thing comes in. So it's replacing it. You don't know how much till you get really far up that ladder. Yeah, because you're constantly up against your shit. And it's like gravity pulling you down the ladder. But once you get to a certain point, you realize there's no more gravity. This ladder is dissolving right before my eyes. And now it's just life. Yeah. And everything that comes your way is done by God. Yeah. And your faith is clear, and your understanding is clear, and the visions you get are in manifestations because you have the empowerment of thought form building. Yeah. You're playing a part with God. You're a co-creator. Yeah. And that's what it's going to be like for all of us. It's a point of transition. Yeah. We're coming out of one, going into another. Yeah. But trust me, militia is being recruited. They're gays, they're feminists, they're all kinds of people that have extreme emotional problems. Yeah. And they don't know how to cope with them because they don't know God. Last thing they know is God. Yeah. So they're so fallen out of God's grace that, there's nothing that will lead them to the truth. It's grace that leads you to the truth. It's not your willpower. It's not your, I paid this person and I was a good person. And no, it's not how it works. It's grace. Because when it happens, you got to accept it with grace. It's not you. It's not something you did. The Lord's time, the Lord out there in the invisible world of the Lord is making us a better world. Yeah. And that's what you get when you have grace. Your humility comes out. But that's not where a lot of things are at, because everybody gets into this whole other material reality. Yeah. So getting rid of Trump is it's a layer of outcome. You didn't know Sai Baba. I told you about Sai Baba, told you he was bad, told you all these things, and told you that he had to go, and leave him alone. He's really bad. He's molesting and pedophile. And same thing with Michael Jackson. He's Hitler. He's a demon. He's more like a vampire than anything else. Watch, he'll turn into it. He will manifest into it. And I'm not doing anything. I'm just presenting the truth. And the truth becomes a thought form. And that thought form is judgment. You can't overthrow God's thought form when God comes into power. You know? And that's the outcome of what's going on now. It happened to Michael Jackson. It happened to Sai Baba. It's going to happen to all the popes. They're actually going to go bankrupt. It's true. Yeah, the whole Catholic Church is going to go bankrupt. Yeah? Because it's all based on money. There's no religion whatsoever. You know? So as soon as you stop giving them money, they go bankrupt because they don't have a business. They only have a corrupt banking system that they make money out of, but that's being changed. Fewer and fewer people are willing to use that backdoor banking system to carry out what they do in their evil world. You know, even if the Pope says, "Hey, it's not a problem. No one can get in here. Keep it up. Don't worry about it." And same thing with the islands that you can go to and do illegal banks, or go to Sweden, or go to, country. All of that's drying up. It's drying up because we're becoming an international world belief system. You know, it's affecting the whole world. We're getting morals. Yeah. We're starting to find laws that allow us to do something about it. Allow us to go in and see the records of the Pope. You know, go in and see the banking system. Even today, we're going to go see Trump's banking system and find out he's never been wealthy. He's always actually been poor. And in reality, he was a person who fed off of lenders. People who lent him money. And then he misused that money. So he's just a person who's in the market of moving money. Not a person who makes money or a person who earns money, just a person who moves money. So then that corporation, those banks and these evil people, usually the German bank of Dorsch, which is pretty evil, they're really quite corrupt. And everybody knows how corrupt they are. Well, that's his main bank, And he floods anything that he could do is to move through there, and then he moves on to Russia, and he's got all kinds of things from the German bank to the Russian process going on. Because the German bank's willing to do it. They have illegal ways to carry these things out. All these things are very normal in our world. We have all kinds of really corrupt people just draining all the money you have in the world is being drained by corrupt people, really corrupt people. Yeah, that door is being closed. Yeah, slowly but surely that door is being closed, and that will turn everything around into a process of systems where people are actually building large corporations, facilitating large amount of income, and lowering the amount of materialism that we buy, like getting small houses, buying trailers and living in them in the forest, and recently in the last 6 months, you can go to any RV center, and you will not find an RV. They're gone. Yeah. And there are usually, 500 or more RVs at a RV center. Yeah, they have maybe parked 20, and they're lengthwise so that they look like there's a lot there. They're not parked next to each other. They're like scattered all over the parking lot, to make it look like they're there, but they're not there. Everything. If you want to buy a truck, if you want to buy a van, if you want to buy a motorhome, if you want to buy anything along that way, that I'm teaching people this is the way to go. There is the largest mass of people going that way. Yeah? So this is a change of hands. It's a change of direction, a change of thought form building. And people's cooperation into what moves them to carry out. Because you can go freak out and think, oh my God, we're all going to die. Or you can think, I'm going to move out of this really shitty house that I only live in one room, and I'm going to watch more YouTubes, because that's all they had to do. And they're going, wow, look at all those people in those motorhomes. They look like they're having fun. Are you kidding? They're only paying what? How much? You know, and you can get those things on a mortgage for what? $150 a month? What? You know, that's insane. I could do that. I'll sell my house. I'll get a little mortgage on the motorhome. I'm out of here. Yeah. So all the motorhomes were bought. Yeah. You can't even buy used ones. Yeah. And people are not like running for the hills. You know, they're finding tiny house value and relationship to life. Simple. You know, minimalism. Yeah. Instead of them going, I'm going to shoot myself because of this terrible thing. I can't go to work, you know, and the virus is going to kill me anyway. You know, you would think depression would go up, but instead people got wiser. They got smarter. They made decisions they couldn't make before. They're going to lose their house anyway, you know. So let's move forward to something that we can afford. Yeah, and all these things is all part of an event. You know, to allow ourselves to give offerings to the earth. Yeah, get in your motorhome, drive out there, sit by the lake, wake up in the morning. Holy shit. Yeah. Enjoy yourself. Have a cup of coffee. Let it go. Yeah. Let the wheels spin. Watch the world go by. Wait for a bird to land. Have a nice day. Yeah. Watch squirrels pick up things and run away. Yeah, enjoy it. Yeah, and then go back in there and go to sleep. And wake up the next day. Oh, even better. Yeah, and then go back in there and go, I think I'm going to fix something. You know, now you got creative thought form building, and you know now you can not only fix knobs, but you can fix your whole house, all the plumbing, all the electrical, everything. And you're thinking, wow, I can do this. Yeah. And you joined a group of doers, a new group of world servers from low to high. Yeah. And we all are doers. Yeah. Yeah. Build your own stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So there's that transition is what's taking place. This is the opposite of Proud Boys. Yeah. This is the opposite of terrorism. This is the opposite of pissed off and I'm just going to, you know, go against everybody and go be a half gay person, half not gay person, you know, today, maybe not tomorrow. I don't know, you know, but I have the right, you know. And it's just a rebellious reality where you're lost, you know. So there's this whole influence coming into the world that is happening that you're not aware of, yeah. And just be aware that, you know, there's an outcome that's happening a year from now. You're not aware of it, but it's already happening. You know, tens of thousands of people left their homes, moved into tiny homes and vans and motorhomes. Yeah, I even got people, you know, because I'm moving this whole thing. I every day, I am moving this. You know, I am projecting into people, and everybody in the end of it, everybody's going. The last thing they would take is a truck and put a camper on the back of it. Yeah, because that's like low life. That's a drinking beer, bad case of, you know, hunting and all that kind of stuff. You know, you know, you think that in your mind. You're stereotypical. You know, oh, camper, beer, yeah. You know, truck. Oh no, I can't do that. I don't want to identify with that. You know, I'll get a nice motorhome. You know, I'm not in a truck and a camper. I'm in a motorhome. I don't care if it's 30 feet long. I'm not in a truck and a camper. Yeah. And then they go, I'm going to go Class B, you know, and it's like a van, you know. Well, at least I'm not in a truck and camper, you know. But then what they find out when they get through this whole thing is that the really only thing you should be driving is a truck. And the only thing you should have on your truck is a camper, you know, because it's really wise. It comes off. It's 10 times bigger inside than anything you'll get in a van, than anything you'll get in a Class B or Class C, and even a Class A. Yeah. You can put real big things on the back of a truck. And you can make a truck into a flatbed. Yeah. And make it a completely different thing. There's all kinds of things. I'm doing it. Yeah. I've already done vans. I've done RVs. You know, and then I've sold them, you know, and now I'm doing another one. And now I'm making a flatbed and I'm putting a host camper on it. You know, look it up, host camper. Just imagine that, a host camper, yeah, with an F-350 Super Duty truck. Put those two together. Look that up. And imagine, whoa, what kind of rig is that? 4-wheel drive, dualies, yeah? It's the only real way that we as ourselves will develop into this next stage, where we're not, you let go of vans. You let go of this, you let go of that, and you simplify, minimalize. And we'll find that this is where we're at. Because the electric car companies already developing the vehicles. Trucks first. Yeah, so you can get an Atlas truck that has an 8-foot long bed or a flat bed, and you can do exactly as I'm saying, with a camper on the back and solar on top, and you're generating all your electricity for both your vehicle and your house. Yeah, and you're free. Yeah, this is all absolutely 100% potential within a year. Yeah, because Atlas will put their trucks out. All this is coming. So this is really a matter of time for things to evolve into a place and getting out of, these old RVs and moving into these new level forms of technology that are actually houses on wheels. Yeah, and it gets you ready for a tiny house. When you park this sucker, you're going to be really happy to live in a tiny house. That shit gets old after a while. Driving a truck and living in a camper and doing all that, that's great. Camping's great. But it ends. There's an end to it. And it leads you to a tiny house. Yeah. So the whole thing helps you throw everything away, get down to your bare necessities, let go of your pride, your ego, and all kinds of things, get back to nature, heal yourself, and after 3 or 4 years, you're ready to get back into the system, and you actually got a lot to offer to people. Yeah. So think about that. Yeah. So let's pray. If you imagine, we've had a president now going on 4 years, and he honestly believes that windmills give cancer, or he's leading people to think that stupidity, But yet, we got windmills so big, airlines are looking small. Look at this jet airliner, and look at one of those windmills. And you go down a couple more, and they're 3 times the size of that airliner. Huge. So it doesn't look like we're sticking with the little one down here on the end to the left, where Trump is at, because that's where Trump's at. That's where he's at. Oh, windmills, it could cause cancer. And yet, the world is going, building bigger, building bigger, building bigger, building bigger, building bigger, building bigger, building bigger. And they're watching their cities and their lights go on. Yeah, and their finances changing dramatically, because now they actually have something they can offer other countries, electricity. Yeah, this guy has really, yes. And then we've got all this, solar, yeah? So all of this is behind the scene. We don't know this is going on, yeah? You're in your house. You're just doing what you're doing, But if you get out and let go of things and heal, yeah, and you start your healing, the effect of the goodness in the world, all of this that's going on in the world is adding up. And you're going to stop drinking. People will stop drinking. People will give their guns up. People will just do it because there's so much goodness in the world. You're not good. Yeah, you are, But, those who aren't. Yeah, and how are you going to get them to change? Keep doing good. Yeah, just keep doing good. And you don't have to worry about you doing good because the masses of the New Group of World Server is on it. Yeah, they're on it. They're in Arabia, they're in Africa, they're in India, they're in Asia, they're all over China. You know, you want to think, oh, they're all communists. Well, you know, look how much solar they're doing. Look how much wind generating they're doing. Look how much is going to change that needs to be changed. And it is going to change, you know. And it's just the truth. That's how it's going to turn out. You know, so all of this is behind the scene. And it is in a goodness way. It's working in a goodness way, not Trump-like way. Yeah. So just remember that. Okay, so let's do prayer. So this is to continually invoke a cleansing of any relationship to the astral reality of Satan. Okay, repeat after me. Lord Jesus the Christ, thank you for bringing me here. Lord Jesus the Christ, I open my heart today. I invite you to come inside. Lord Jesus the Christ, save my life. Receive me today as a child of God. Forgive all my sins and write my name in the book of life. I give myself to you. My spirit, my soul, my body, receive me, Jesus the Christ. Now, devil, the blood of Jesus is against you. I command you now to leave me. I do not belong to you. I am God's property. Leave my life. I disassociate myself from you. I renounce you and every evil covenant I have entered in with you. In the name of Jesus the Christ, I have received salvation. I am a child of God. Amen. And that's the truth. Okay, again, I'm going to play a meditation that's a video, so it would be good if you watched it. And we'll start the Om just about a half a minute or so into it. I'll start it and you go with me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of your ashram, soul, and monad. To guide you into the right activity in the plan. 7 rays. Take a deep breath to your 7 chakras. I invoke the alignment of the 3rd ray. Christ within. I invoke the nature of the Buddha that you are to become. I invoke the mind of the Devic angelic beingness sounds of heaven,
sounds of love,
the sounds of God, the song of love. just stay relaxed. Keep your eyes closed. I'm still here. All right. So, take all that in. I hope that prayer helped you a lot. Yeah. You got to realize that you may not believe in Lucifer, you may not believe in Satan or things like that, but one day you will realize that it's true, and you'll find out that your Catholic Church is involved in Lucifer's plot, and that it created Mother Mary as an alternative to healing the angel Lucifer. Study it. Talk to a Catholic priest. He'll tell you. He's indoctrinated into the reality that Mother Mary is the one who saves Lucifer. Yeah? And she becomes God in relationship to being able to create Jesus. Yeah? Who takes the place of Lucifer. If you read it, you'll find all that inside of there. And yet you're not, you think you're not involved in it. But yet most people are Catholics. And most people go through these religious indoctrinations that are totally involved with Luciferian doctrine. Yeah, so be at peace, because you do not know what you have gotten yourself into.